Hey everybody, welcome to Sid's channel. We appreciate you tuning in today. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Kingdom War for Cybertron Black Arachnia. So as we always do here, first thing we'll do is we'll take a look at that packaging, see what came in the package, and then we'll get down to the details on the figure herself. So let's go ahead and move her out of the way. We'll bring that box forward a little bit so we can get some details on there. Give everybody a good look at that. So you can see on the front, we've got some really good artwork. Black Arachnia up here, Transformers Kingdom War for Cybertron. Take it over to the side. You get that nice artwork there. Back side, you get your product shots, 20 steps, Black Arachnia. You got all your warnings down here, the ever popular Sad Baby. On the side, she is a deluxe class. And again, there's a look at that artwork. That's really cool, actually. Up top, you do have the War for Cybertron K5, the 5th figure for the Kingdom line. And then on the bottom, all of the obligatory stuff that you could ever want to read in many languages. And that's it for the outside of the packaging. So let's take a look at what came inside. Move this packaging out of the way. First thing we'll do is we'll just look at the insert that held the figure. Again, real similar to every other Kingdom figure. There's not really a lot to see here. You know, you do have some nice artwork on there, just cardboard on the back. This is the slot for the card that comes with the deluxe class figures. And next thing, your favorite and mine, more warnings. Then we have the instructions. As I've said before, the instructions are pretty good on most of these new figures. Now she's a little tricky just with the way you need to flip her legs around for the transformation. So this was a bit of a struggle for me just because of the figure. I can't see where they could have really done better on the instructions trying to show you what to do. It was just a bit of a struggle to get there. But overall, again, the instructions are clear, concise, laid out nicely. And the last item that isn't related to the figure directly is the sticker. This time around, I got an Optimus Prime. This is my first Optimus Prime, so I was pretty much at the end of my rope as far as Kingdom figures go, at least for this wave. So I pulled this one out. I was pleasantly surprised that I got an Optimus Prime sticker and not a repeat of another sticker that I already had, so very nice. All right, so let's bring the figure in, and we'll start talking about details on her. First things first, we'll take a look at the weapon. I have her holding it. We'll take that weapon out. Excuse me, miss. So let's bring that weapon in up close. Really nice detail on that. I do like the two-tone paint. It works well. Not entirely sure what this weapon does. I don't know much about Black Arachnia. Again, as I've mentioned in other Kingdom reviews, I always leaned more toward the robot that becomes a machine and less toward the robot that becomes a creature. So I don't have a lot of history on Black Arachnia. I don't have any previous versions of her. So I will say the gun looks cool. Not sure what exactly it is supposed to be or what it does, but looks pretty nice. Put that off to the side. Let's bring the lady in herself for some up close. There's that head sculpt. Again, as I've mentioned in previous reviews, really impressed by what Hasbro and Takara have been doing here with the level of detail on these figures. I mean, gosh, the paint apps on this, pretty amazing when you consider the size. I mean, there's my thumbnail for comparison, but when you consider the size of what we're looking at on these face sculpts, these head sculpts, and you're still getting this level of detail, that's pretty impressive. You get your insignia here. Good markings everywhere. There's the lower torso, the crotch, the upper legs. Again, really nice detail here on the sides. She's got pretty good sized feet. with good heel spurs, which is nice. That helps with posability because with the legs here, she can get a little unwieldy. So it's nice to have that extra support in the feet. There she is from the side and from the back. It's a cool look, I will admit that. Although I never collected these when I was younger, seeing this now in this figure, she's really cool looking. She does have, and we'll talk about this later when we talk about the effects, but she does have these 5mm ports here on the backs of her legs and on the bottoms of her feet. There's no real practical application, but you can have some fun with those. So yeah, that's the detail on her. Again, with those heel spurs, you can get some pretty good poses. Now, we'll talk real quick about the articulation, then we'll get into the transformation. So let's bring her back in. So with the head, you do get side to side, you get forward and back, you get full 360. And she does actually have the ability to look down, which is nice. I mean, that's not something that you see on a lot of figures, and it's almost a natural look to give her that level of articulation. If you look at some of the other characters, when they look down, I think I may have mentioned it with the Kingdom Core Optimus Prime, it just looks like he's looking down his shirt like he lost a potato chip. But with her, she actually looks like she's looking down at something. So that's really cool. Now, as far as the shoulders can come way up. Of course, down. You do get full 360. You just got to be aware of the spider legs. You do get a good bend at the elbow, just over 90 degrees. And of course, you do get the bicep rotation. That's a full 360. Nothing at the wrist. And for her, nothing at the waist. This is due entirely to transformation. I can't see where they would have been able to design her with the transformation that they're using and have a waist rotation integrated in there. So would have liked to have seen it, but I can completely understand in this circumstance. For the hips, let's get her arms out of the way. So for the hips, you do get the full Van Damme, if not more. She kicks forward that far. Now, you can get her a little bit more. Again, if you pull that leg out, you can get some more. But at this point now, you're almost completely kicking out. So it's just due to the shape of this pelvis right here, this crotch area. She kicks back almost all the way, which is nice. You do get the thigh rotation. And you do have, we'll see this as part of transformation as well, but you do have this area right here where this thigh panel moves. This is to help accommodate with transformation. We'll see that momentarily. But also depending on where you want to place that for her look, if you will, you can give her a little more girth. Now for the knees, you get way more than 90 degrees. But again, this is because of transformation, which we'll get into later. So good knee articulation. And then for the feet, you get forward and you get back that far, forward, actually that far, and then significant ankle rotation. So good articulation there. You do not get any side to side. So you're not going to be able to turn her feet a different direction. She's just going to point whatever direction her thighs point. But overall, yeah, pretty decent articulation on this figure. And then, of course, you have the articulation here, which we'll talk about when we get her to spider mode. Set her there for a second. Let everybody get a good look of her. Now, getting ready to do the transformation into spider mode. This can be a little tricky. I will try to do my best to capture on camera what I'm doing, and I'll try to explain it. Because I know the first time that I transformed her, number one, I was unsure. And number two, there were a couple of spots where I was afraid I was going to break the figure. So the struggle is real, and you're not alone. So let's go ahead and get started with her. Now, you're going to need to do this anyway, so one of the first things that I do is I actually spin her forearms 180 degrees, because that's the orientation that you're going to need them in when you get her later on into spider mode. So what we'll do is we will move her head, turn that back. So it's like that. Now back here, you're going to pull this spider abdomen away from her back. And then right here, you're just going to grab her upper torso and you're going to get that portion up above her pelvis, which is going to allow you to tilt her back. It looks like, kind of looks like she's doing the limbo. And when you do that, that's going to give you the clearance that you need right here to actually do a rotation of the body, the upper body, 180 degrees. And then you're just going to tuck her head into this little hole right there. So you should have something that looks about like that. Now once you get it here, you have pivots right here for the shoulders that you're actually going to draw those arms in and bring them in like this. All right, and I'm not going to be too worried about how the arms look yet because we're going to mangle them a few times as we do the rest of this transformation. So right in here, get those legs out of the way, right here, you're actually going to hold here and hold up here and pull this so you have a gap. This is going to allow you to turn this assembly 180 degrees right here. Then you're going to collapse this back in. All right, so now you should have a configuration that looks something like that. Essentially all you've done is turn those arms upside down. Now, bring your attention up here to the top, the spider head, if you will. You're going to want to take the chest, pull the chest up, get this abdomen up over the chest in preparation for what's going to come next. So, come down here to the legs, fold the feet all the way up, turn her around. This is the part that I was talking about where I thought I was going to break her, the first time that I did this. Getting the legs to this point, not bad. The very first time I did this, pushing these all the way in scared the devil out of me. Now the joints are loose enough that it doesn't feel too bad, but that very first time I thought I was going to break something right here. So it had me very nervous. So do the same thing over here, fold those legs all the way back. Now, I'm going to get these arms out of the way for a second. Try to keep them in the same orientation. Just pull them out of your way because you're going to need to tuck these legs. You're going to go 180 degrees with these legs and tuck them in. So take her legs, open them up like that, get the feet around that abdomen as such, and now you're going to start rotating those legs around. So this takes a little bit of maneuvering, but once you get it where it's looking about like that, you can then collapse those legs in, and you can kind of see where this is going now, where you have that seam where the legs right here meet up with the abdomen. You can close her knee spikes. Go ahead and get those out of the way. And now you can see you should have something that looks like that, where her legs are all compacted up. So if you turn your attention back to the bottom, she does have, at this moment, visible head syndrome. What you need to do at this point is you're going to bring those arms back down, and then, trying to get this on camera, the reason that we had to orient these arms the way we did is because her feet, the bottoms of her heels, right here, they're going to fit right in these holes. So you need to just maneuver this around until you can get those in, and you're looking a little something like that. All right, so she still has that visible head syndrome. This is where her weapon comes into play. This, for me, is the most difficult part of this transformation, because what you need to do is you have these tabs on the weapon that you need to try to line up with the slots right there and right there on her wrists. And when she's in this position, it's not the easiest thing to do. So what I've discovered, it works for me, it may work for you, it may not work for you. What I've discovered is before I even tuck these hands in to the heel spurs right here, I just pull this back out a little bit, and I do this one arm at a time. Again, try to get this on camera, where I'm going to take a tab, and I'm just going to line it up, and I'm going to press it into her wrist, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Yeah, maybe. There we go. Like I said, it's not the easiest thing, especially when I have a camera right here where I would normally have it up close to my person. So bear with me for a moment. Get that in there. Get that one in there. There we go. Okay, so now I have the weapon in both of those slots. So now I'm going to bring this all down. I'm going to line it up over those feet. And I'm going to tuck that in. And then I come here to the front and I want to make sure that these are together. And now we're in the home stretch, guys. We are almost there. Now it's a matter of cleanup. So you just make sure that the legs are tucked in on both sides. And now for the spider legs, bring these up at that hinge point. And now you can just spread those legs out however you feel. Recognize that there are limits to how far up you can pull these because they are on ball joints. So if you pull these too hard, you're going to pop those out and you'll have to pop them back in. Spread those legs out however you see fit. Make her look as menacing as you want. And there you go. I don't have her legs down far enough, do I? There, that's better. Tilt those a little bit. And now you have Black Arachnia in her spider mode. And yeah, I mean, for a figure that goes from robot to spider, she's pulling off the spider look pretty darn good. I mean, there's no doubt that's what it is. So we'll bring her in for some details. See, my foot already popped out. This weapon does not like to stay either, guys. So, at least on my copy. So if this falls out right here, sorry. Let's bring her in for some detail. We'll take a look at that spider face, if I can get some focus there. What are you focusing on that's not her spider face? There we go. So you can see all those eyes. Again, you can see the detail on the abdomen, which is nice. You even have, well, you have eyes on the butt. I don't know of any spiders that do, but hey, she does. I guess when you're in her line of work, you need to have eyes in the back of your head or the back of your butt so you can see what's coming. But even the claws here look like the spinnerets for anybody who's familiar with spider anatomy. The spinnerets, it's where the actual web comes out. So you can make an argument that that's kind of what these look like. The legs themselves actually have good detail on them. So kudos to the mold maker, putting in that level of detail, and to the designer, making sure that the mold has that level of detail. Paint apps look pretty good. There's the bottom. So this is where you lose a little bit of believability. I mean, you do have this big old gun just sitting there. But overall, not too shabby, really. Now, as I stated, I don't have any comparisons really from Beast Wars in the past. So the closest thing that I have, I'll bring in a couple of items that I do have. I do have the G1 Insecticons. So what we can do for some comparison here is I could bring in G1 Bombshell and let you have a comparison there. So there she is next to the G1 Bombshell in his Beetle mode. Now the other comparison that I have is, I'm going to be honest, I don't remember which Lego set this is from. So it's either Aragog from Harry Potter or it's Shelob from Lord of the Rings. I can't remember which Lego set that came from, but there you go. So there she is in comparison to either Aragog or Shelob. All right. So now what we'll do is we'll get her transformed back up into her robot mode. We'll get into the robot comparisons, and I'll give you my final thoughts, and we'll get you guys out of here. Oh, we have to do effects. I can't forget about the effects, so I'll get her transformed into robot mode, do the effects, comparisons, verdict, get you guys out of here. All right, so getting her back to robot mode is easier than getting her to the spider mode, so I just collapse these legs in just to get them out of the way. And then take that weapon off. Then start taking the arms out of the feet. So that way you bring that out just kind of like that. And then you're going to, right back here, grab this abdomen and just pull that out of the way a little bit. You can bring her chest back down just so it's out of the way. And then you're going to, again, grab these legs, pull them out away from the abdomen, and then bring them back out around. So you do have some rotation right here in this pelvis, which is going to give you an assist. But then once it stops, that's when you got to take the legs the rest of the way. Let's go ahead and pull those on back. And once you have those cleared, then you can just open those legs up. Bring them back out. These knee spikes will move for you into their correct position, so you don't have to worry about those guys. And then, again, just pull that down and out of the way so you can do your work up here. Take the arms, open the arms up. Well, you don't have to open the arms up yet, sorry. First, you need to rotate this. So, again, right here, grab it, pull it, rotate it, and then as you collapse this back in, you're going to want to move these arms out of the way. Then you can push that the rest of the way in. And now we're almost there. So then we just take this assembly, rotate this around, tuck this in behind the pelvis, and then bring this up. Collapse this portion of the abdomen down, bring that in, give that all a good squeeze right there in the middle. Turn her head around, and now you're just in cleanup phase again. So bring her arms down, move the spider legs to the back, spin her forearms 180, arms down, spider legs back, forearms 180, and you have Black Arachnia back in her robot mode. Let's get her legs straightened out there so she'll stand up for me. All right, there you go. So, yeah, she's a good looking figure. I like her. The more I play with her, the more that I like her. Now, let's talk about the effects real quick. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of practical effects here, but the gun, either by design or by coincidence, is effects compatible. So you can just slide an effect on there. So overall, looks pretty cool. Now, like I said, for the figure herself, you have your two 5mm ports here at the bottom. So you can add the effects if you want a flying spider. I guess you could do that. And here in the back, if for some reason you wanted her to get shot in the leg or have leg rockets, I guess you could do that as well. Totally up to you, your toy. Do with it what you want. But not a whole lot of practical effects use there. All right, now let's get down to the comparisons. I'm going to give her gun back. There you go. Thank you for letting me borrow it. Let's tuck these back behind you a little bit. That way we can get some more folks in here. So, like I said, from a Transformers standpoint, I do not have a lot of Transformers that compare as far as Spider goes, but I do have Transformers Prime Arachnid. She's in the package. I'm not going to take her out of the package, but I can turn this around so you can see the figure. Maybe if I move that back a little bit, you can see her a little bit better. So yeah, you can see the figure there as a point of comparison. She can look down and say, hello, how are you? I'm a spider too. So yeah, I do have Arachnid. And then of course, what we can do is we can bring Bombshell back in, put him in his robot mode. That way you can see a G1 Insecticon next to a Kingdom Spider. So let's just go ahead and get him transformed real quick. Doesn't take a whole lot for Bombshell. Put him right next to her. So there you go. Bombshell, Arachnid. All right, let's move him on out of the way. And we'll start bringing in the Kingdom compatriots. So to start with, again, we're just going to build around her, I suppose. So let me bring her front and center. So what we could do, as always, we'll bring in Barney. Oh, I'm sorry, Megatron. Set him right back there. May not be able to get him all in the shot, but you get the idea. Bring in Cyclonus. We will bring in Optimus Primal. We will bring in Mr. Warpath. And I may have to put Cyclonus back here. Do Optimus Primal right there. Yeah, that way I think I can get a few more guys in. So then we'll bring in Cheetor. Uh-oh, Cheetor down. He has very tiny feet. Difficult to get him to pose. So you're just going to look that way and see whatever you see. As long as you stand there and don't fall on me again. And then we'll bring in the little guys. We'll do Core Class right here. There's Core Class Prime and Core Class Rat Trap. And Cheetor's down again. You're out of here, buddy. Who needs you? So, yeah, there you have it. Other than Cheetor, just come in and say hello. I'm going to try this one more time. Stand up. Don't you follow me. Don't. You're not even all the way in the picture. What are you doing with getting your attitude falling on me? Stay. Stay. Okay. So, to wrap this up, I have to say that Black Arachnia may be one of my favorite Kingdom figures. She's not the easiest transformation. She's got her tricky points, but I think her figure looks well. Let's get your chest down. Are you trying to be indecent? I think the figure looks really good. Spider mode's kind of cool. Creeps my wife out, so it does the job there. The robot mode looks nice. She's got good posability. I think overall has a really strong presence as a figure. So in short, I would say, yeah, if you can find her, pick her up. She's a fun figure. I think she's a nice addition. Now that I'm really buying into this whole Beast Wars look, yeah, she's one of the cooler ones. She's way better, in my opinion, than Cheetor. I think I still like, in order of my favorites, I think I still like Barney, maybe Black Arachnia, and then Prime, and then Rat Trap, and then Cheetor for the beasts. Cheetor is still my least favorite. He's just looks awkward, tiny feet, hard to pose. But, yeah. So for the ones that actually turn into beasts, she does a good job. Pick her up if you can find her. So guys, I think that's going to wrap this up. As always, appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch these reviews. I appreciate the likes, the comments. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Check us out on Rumble as well. We're posting the content not only on YouTube but also on Rumble. And give us some comments. Let us know what we can be doing better. Say it in every video. I'm going to say it in this one. I don't do this because I'm trying to make money. I do this because I really enjoy the Transformers. I think it's fun to not only collect them and have them, but it's also really fun to do this and kind of spread the word, because these are great toys. They have been for generations now, but they're only getting better. The engineering and the design on these guys is just astounding. For what you can pay for $20, the playability that you get, gosh, second to none. So anyway, I will stop my preaching now and wrap it up. But again, thanks for tuning in. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a rumble if you're watching us there. We would appreciate that. Leave us some comments. Let us know what we could be doing better. And until next time, guys, take care, and we'll see you later.